So hi, this is Nick Williams. I'm sitting here with Jeff Allen. Hi Jeff, how you doing?
Hi, good to be with you, Nick.
Good to see you. Thank you for this. You've been a friend and mentor to me for many, many years. I'm very grateful to you. So we said we'd have a little conversation. I represent and serve a tribe of what I call inspired entrepreneurs, people that are doing work they love, that's very close to their hearts. They really love making a difference in the world. And I know certainly for many of them, and for me, one of the biggest problems we have is really, valuing ourselves and getting beyond the guilt of, asking for money and receiving and all that stuff. So what's your perspective on how do we get in that situation, and how can we heal that situation in our lives and in our minds?
Yeah, I think it's this is the biggest subject when it comes down to everything. This is the trap that most people fall into, and to get out of it, it just basically takes some awareness that when you're in there, when you start feeling bad about something or you feel stuck about something, then you've got to know that guilt's at play. And this is the guilty planet. It's just like most people have a mountain of guilt to work through.
But most people suppress their guilt, don't they?
Oh, absolutely, because we all compensated for it. Because when you feel guilty, you also feel bad. So very few people walk around wanting to feel bad. So they all go, "I'll hide the bad stuff and act like I'm this really good, nice, sweet person." But underneath, we don't believe that about ourselves. And the thing we need to understand is the good, sweet bit's not true, but the guilt is also not true. And so it's really learning how to get past that guilt. And the thing about guilt is it's learning the difference between a mistake and doing something wrong. When you feel like you've done something wrong, that will create guilt in your life. When you recognize that, we all made mistakes, I'm going to make mistakes, you'll make mistakes. And a mistake just calls for correction. So guilt in itself is a half-learned lesson. It's like we did something that wasn't our best day.
But instead of learning, we're punishing ourselves.
Yeah, we've now made a monument to something that went wrong. And I think I was reading about it recently, and guilt is like turning a mistake into a sin. That's what guilt does. Instead of just learning, you lock yourself in there. And when it comes to money, then that's obviously one of the biggest ones. That is the area that we work out our guilt, or try and pay off our guilt most with.
So we punish ourselves in a way by not having as much abundance as we could.
Absolutely. And guilt will show up usually in two ways. Either you'll punish yourself, or you get other people to punish you, which is either you'll badly invest your money, or you'll lose your money, or you get your money stolen off you or something, or you'll get other people not to pay you, or things like that.
So all the guilt we carry, it's mainly from childhood kind of mistakes, in your experience?
Well, I think
it's not present, it's old stuff that's getting replayed.
But there's plenty of present stuff too. Right. I mean, any regret in your life about any dealings you had with people the last few years. So most people deal with guilt on that level, what they've said, what they haven't said, what they've done, what they haven't done. That level of guilt in our lives. And that's that level of guilt in our everyday life that most people will deal with that. But once you start digging, then the next level down will be the guilt we have around our family. And if you have a really happy family and achieved all their goals and everything, then you probably don't have any guilt. But everything that's
not most of us.
Yeah. Everything that went wrong with your mum and your dad, your dad lost his job and came home broke. Even as a little kid, you'd sit there and go, that was my fault. Your mum gets depressed. You go, that's my fault.
I failed somehow.
Yeah, and we just build that guilt and build that guilt and build that guilt, and it's such a destructive force. And then, of course, depending on your belief system, you can go underneath that, and then there's this whole guilt we have about God and the separation and the whole prodigal child story. So we have a mountain of guilt.
Yeah. So there's something on a surface level that has very deep roots.
Oh yeah.
So how do you help people through it? If it just shows up as like, well, I feel guilty about receiving money, do you have to kind of delve deep into childhood stuff to clear that in order to be able to receive more money, for example, or are there other ways of doing that?
Yeah, I think you can do it in any number of ways. That's a good way. Another way is just to sit there and really feel all your feelings about embarrassment about having money, or feelings of unworthiness, or that you have no value, because they're all part of the same package. But the first thing is just having the awareness. Just, you know, once you get that, oh, I'm trapped in my guilt. As soon as you're aware of what's trapping you and the bad feelings that go with it, now you can start, you know, finding a way out. And there's, you know, there's 1,000 ways out. But essentially, of course, the way out of guilt is forgiveness. It's the willingness to give forth of yourself. Because what guilt does is guilt traps you, gets you to withdraw, gets you to compensate, all these things that are not true. But really what, you know, and so that's what makes leaders small. It locks people away, because the way out of it is to forgive, to give forth of yourself, which is to actually, if you're a messenger or whatever you're doing and you've got something to say, then it's the guilt that's stopping you saying that, and it's that refusal to be stopped, that you focus on that. And this is typically, you know, when people are caught in guilt, then they feel stuck. But there's a deeper part of us that goes, actually it suits me to be stuck.
I was going to say, is there a payoff for this?
Yeah, yeah. It suits you to be stuck, and you have an issue with someone and someone you can't forgive, or something that's happened that's unforgivable. It actually suits you because now you don't have to move forward.
And is that fear though? Is it fear of stuff being too good? Or?
Absolutely. But people are more frightened of the good stuff than they are of the bad stuff.
You know, let's bring that in for just a moment here. You know, what is it that we're really afraid of?
Well, there's not that. We have all these belief systems about success. I mean, it's like often you ask people, well, if you were really successful, what would happen? You say, well, then my whole family would want to come and live with me. I don't want to live with my family, you know.
Yeah. Or everyone's going to follow you home and you know, want a bit of you because you're so amazing and irresistible. So is that people, in your experience of like 20 years of delving into people's minds, is that what you find is one of the biggest fears around success?
Oh yeah, much stronger than failure. And you even ask yourself the question, how many people do you know that failed last year, and how many people did you know that succeeded last year? And most people will know more people who failed, which actually means they'd rather fail than
it's
succeed.
Kind of familiar, you know how to handle it. I certainly know how to handle failure a lot better than I know how to handle success.
But it's also true, people need to go through that experience in order to learn. I mean, I think in the city, some large companies will have a hiring policy. They only hire people who failed at least once. You know, because everyone's going to fail at least once. You know.
So are you saying it's a kind of act of leadership and courage to actually be successful?
Oh, absolutely. And, you know, that's the whole thing of being able to step past all this stuff. You know, we've thought of 1,000 different ways to trap ourselves. You know, we're in that department, we've been really creative. You know, that's where most of our creativity has gone, is in how to trap ourselves. And we just need to learn how to turn that around. And, you know, we do need to be the one that has the courage to shine, the one that has the courage to be successful, and then teach other people how to do that. And that it's okay to be successful.
Yeah, just personally, you know, for anyone watching this or listening to this, I've kind of thought, well, how does my spiritual path kind of tie in with wanting to be successful? And I suppose the way I look at it for myself is the more successful I can be, it means the more innocent I must allow myself to be in order to have good stuff come to me. So to me, they're kind of parallel paths. My outer success and my inner innocence have to walk side by side.
Absolutely. And I think one of the things that I've you know, been working on recently is really understanding that the paradigm for being successful in business is also the same disciplines, the same mentality as being successful spiritually. You know, you do need the clarity, you do need the discipline, you do need to, you know, not give up and all those things. And I think they're the same.
Okay, great. So, final tip for anyone listening to this who's going, right, so how do I clear this guilt so I can be happier and more successful and more abundant in my life? Any final tips?
Well, I think the whole thing is to recognise that when you're in the guilt and then start learning to reach out for other people. I think that's the thing, you know, it's that if you focus too much on yourself, the guilt's going to catch you and you can trap you and you'll think of 1,000 reasons not to get out there. But at some point you go, actually, what I've come to do and who I've come to help is more important than that, and then you really step out. You know, it's a trap, and like all traps, you can get caught in it, or you can just walk by it. It's because in the end, guilt is never true. This is not the truth.
Right. So it's that clarity. In the words I use, I don't know if they're the words you would use, but you know, wherever I can, I just make a choice to be of service to life.
Absolutely.
In whatever form that looks like, but just to go, I'm going to try and make showing up and sharing something more important than feeling crap about myself.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And when I first started, I remembered I used to have to work through all my personality tests, all those voices inside your head that tell you you screw up and you did the wrong thing and you didn't deserve the money you got and all those kinds of stuff. Those are just personalities. Then none of them are the truth. So you've got to learn to be aware of them and also to transcend them on some level.
Brilliant. Well, thank you very much. Hope you enjoyed watching this, listening to this. Thanks, Jeff.
Yeah, thanks, Nick. That's
Cheers.
great.